It's time to Let's Talk. What's up? What's good? The Wolf is here with a Let's Talk video. Actually, I'm doing this live on Twitch right now. Talking. Yes, I know. I'm wearing the same jacket as in the VOD. So the Resident Evil Village demo happened. There's been a bunch of people that played it. There's a bunch of reactions to it and everything. I don't know. There's just a couple things in here that got me thinking when I actually replayed the demo a second time and just recorded a playthrough of it with no commentary, no nothing, just fully anchored down into the demo. And I think there's a couple details in this that a lot of people overlooked, including myself, of just little things for the storyline. So, anyways, so the first major thing that I want to actually bring to everybody's attention is end screen. I really think that this is actually a dream that Ethan is having. So it's kind of like the nightmare before the actual game happens. Like Ethan is maybe dreaming this before the whole game takes place. That's what I'm starting to kind of feel that in this. So the one that okay, spoiler warning. If you have not played the demo, I'm going to get into a lot of spoiler stuff. Also for Resident Evil 7 and everything else, like spoilers, big spoiler warning. If you don't want to hear spoilers, click off video. Okay, so the whole fact of what's her name? Elena, I think it was. Her dying in that fire, I don't think it actually happened. I think this is all a dream, and it's like worst case scenario that Ethan is actually dreaming of right now. If you remember, Evelyn was it's Evelyn, right? Oh geez, the girl from Resident Evil 7 that's making the bakers all crazy and stuff. Yes, Evelyn. I keep calling her Madeline, and it's like, no, it's Evelyn. But anyways, I also think that's one of the daughter's graves. So they think that all like Lady Dimitrescu. I think her and her daughters are vampires, and they were like dead a long time ago, and now they are like haunting everything. So, boy, where do we even start with this? So, I think this is a dream, and there's reasons for it because there is a moment where. Okay, so when Ethan comes into the village and he first sees the folks, the father and daughter that are hunkered down inside the cabin, they have literally just met. Please don't hurt us. I'm not trying to hurt you. All the survivors are in Louise's house. Like this whole conversation right here, they just met Ethan. And then later on, when they're trying to escape out of the house and everything, you end up hearing like she's like, "Oh, I would love to meet your family." And it's just like, well, how would she even know that if literally they just met each other? I need to see what the castle looks like. I hope your family's safe. She says that. And that's like 5 minutes later. How would she even, unless Ethan says something? No, because he says absolutely nothing about his family. He's just trying to get those two into Louisa's house. He's absolutely saying, nothing at all. And from what we've seen in the trailers is that he just kind of stumbles upon the village. Like something happens where he gets stuck out there in the middle of the woods and he just stumbles upon the village. So little details like that. Also, there's another little detail, and I mean, it could just be a game thing more or less, but the whole thing of just before this, when they're in the truck, just lost his wife. When they're in, just get out. Like the truck goes, and then all of a sudden she's just magically outside. Now, with the level of detail that is going into Resident Evil 8, I don't see that being an oversight of animation. I think Capcom would have battened down on that. I think it's actually intentional that all of a sudden she just appears there, because I don't know, just something tells me this is a dream. It's like basically like my guess is this is the before the night. It's a nightmare before everything happens. It's like that beginning hours demo that we just had before. And I think the village might actually, like when we get into the full on game, I think it's going to end up being like Ethan's like, wait, I've seen this. This was in my dream and everything. I think it's Rose that's maybe causing all like Ethan to have an illusion or a nightmare like this. I think it's his daughter. Just so my big old prediction is that Mia she was being controlled by. Okay, now if you see the animation right here, boom, you hear absolutely nothing. That this flops over, and then she's just out. She's just out of there. She don't get crushed. She don't drop or nothing. She's just out. She's not laying on the floor or anything. I really feel like this is it's a dream of sorts. So my other big theory. I mean, we definitely hear in here that that Rose is the cause of all the the weird stuff going on. My theory is that Mia still has some of the virus or whatever it is that Madeline uses to control everyone with, and that actually when Mia is pregnant with Rose, that transfers over to Rose, and Rose becomes basically another host for that version of the T virus or whatever. I forget exactly what the virus name was at the end of Resident Evil 7. That's the reason why we're streaming all the Resident Evil games right now. Well, I'm streaming through all the Resident Evil games just so I can get the lore back down of what everything is exactly called. But there is a special strand that Evelyn has that lets her like do basically mind control, which comes back again to, I think, if it's not Albert Wesker, I really think it's Alex Wesker that is doing like a mind control agent over top of Chris. And that's the reason why Chris is acting the way he is. So they're going to change the storyline around from it being Jill Valentine being under control in the original story to now the remake story, which is now Chris is underneath mind controls. Now we've seen what happens before when people are underneath a mind control element in Resident Evil 7. All the Bakers are dead because of it. Is Chris going to get killed because of it? Well, that's been the feeling of everybody since literally they started bringing out the trailers and everything. That's the number one thing I've heard everybody say is, "Oh, I think Chris is going to die in this." There's a good chance. I mean, there's a pretty damn good chance, and all the original cast of characters is getting older. Which, if you remember, on the end of the latest trailer, it says age. Basically, to me, it's like, okay, the T virus, like Lady Dimitrescu and her daughters are trying to do an immortal type of thing of like basically like a Bloodborne thing of using the T virus to try and live longer. That's the reason why she's 9 feet tall. You know what's going on there. She's trying to use the virus to try and do something. I'm thinking it's going to be live longer because of the little hints. Now there was another point in this. Now I'm blanking on what the other. There was another point. So Ethan. There's another piece of the puzzle to this too. So just before you jump out of the window, you can kind of see up Ethan's sleeve a little bit, and his arm is like fine. Again, I don't think this is actually this. I think this is something different. Now, if you pay attention to Ethan's wrist, you'll notice that his wrist is not stapled on. Again, that makes me believe that. I mean, it's kind of hard to see if it is or not, though. Let's just double check here real quick. Because that was a detail that I actually heard somebody out say. Oh, come on, Twitch. That was a detail that I kind of heard, and I'm like, that's actually a really good point. His wrist was absolutely stapled on. So as you can see, we can't really tell if there's staples or not there, but it doesn't look like there's any scarring or anything around his wrist area. So that could possibly be another detail, that this is maybe all just a dream, and that he's going to have like a wicked deja vu when he walks into. Yeah, I think this village is going to look totally different. There's going to be people around. We've already seen it in one of the trailers that there is absolutely like people around and everything in the trailer. And then they welcome Mia and Ethan into the village. What I think is going to end up happening is, oh, that's what it was. So, let me just finish up this real quick. But I think what's going to end up happening is the Blue Umbrella stuff with Chris. I think they're going to maybe break into Ethan's house and then kill Mia, because that's pretty much been confirmed that Chris is going to kill Mia. It's in the trailer, kind of confirming that. So what I think is going to end up happening is Ethan follows Chris back to the castle, and so you got to go through the village to get to the castle. Village is kind of like the training area a little bit. That's the reason why like Ethan is going to crash land into the forest just outside, or maybe just try and do like a stealth way in or something. And that's the reason why the forest area with the dark all around. And then you're going to end up running into who knows what coming into the village. But I think the village is going to be maybe people around and everything, and then they're going to be talking about his daughter. And it's like, wait a second, what? So Lady Miranda, it's Miranda, right? No, not Lady Witches. Mother Miranda, yes. So the Mother Miranda thing, I absolutely think it's Alex Wesker. And I found when I was looking around, I was like, oh, wait a second, that looks just like so if you remember in Resident Evil Resistance, there is a photo of Alex Wesker, which is Albert Wesker, like Wesker from the Spencer Mansion incident and everything, like that Albert Wesker. He has a sister, and this is known in the lore that he has a sister. She is a blonde-haired, she kind of looks like Taylor Swift in a way in Resistance, but there is a picture, a like drawn picture depicting what Mother Miranda looks like, and I'm saying what it looks like to me is the bottom, because she is wearing a mask in the picture, the bottom of her face looks just like Alex Wesker's face out on. So I think Alex is trying to go undercover in a way, or just trying to mask her identity so she doesn't pop up on the radar, Blue Umbrella. And then Chris doesn't, get suspicious of anything. And I think Mother Miranda is going to be like the big plot twist. It's going to be Alex Wesker, and she's doing stuff on the orders of Albert Wesker, her brother. You kill Alex Wesker, and maybe it makes Wesker just go nuts, and that turns him into the Wesker that we all know of, being that major villain Wesker. And he might be a little more scientist than he was before, because in Resident Evil 1's HD remake, all that, Albert Wesker is part of like the science team. So it would make sense that in the remakes they keep that going, where it is like Albert Wesker is still like science. His sister also would probably be a science person. But yeah, would he want world domination or whatever? I don't know. I don't think so. It's kind of hard to say what Albert's motives would be. I think he's trying to figure out a way of controlling the virus, which he was also trying to do in Resident Evil 1. That's like the canon storyline is Wesker is trying to control this virus. So I also go back to the whole Resident Evil 3 remake at the end, where what's his name, the Russian guy, Kozlov or whatever the hell his name is, he also says that he's working for someone, and Jill's like, I'm gonna figure out who you're working for. So I think the next Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 9 or whatever they call it, I think that's going to be a Jill Valentine. I still really got this feeling like it's going to be the Resident Evil 6 thing, where it's going to be all the characters coming together to work to find Wesker, and then it's going to be this giant thing of them all fighting Wesker. Now, can they do it to the level of this right here? I really hope so, and I really hope they don't do the trope of like a Marvel's Avengers thing, where you bring all the characters together. It's always online with co-op and all this. We don't need that. We do not need that. We could do stories. Just make the stories to the level of this. We can absolutely do stories with multiple characters, so you can have all your favorite Resident Evil characters all in one place, and maybe even make it to where you pick your own duos and whatnot to go together, or just single characters or whatever. I don't know. I think Resident Evil 9 is going to be kind of that Resident Evil 6-ish type of thing with just multiple stories, multiple characters, all converging together into one situation. Maybe they even go the route of not multiple choice, but the way that like the a lot of times David Cage games go, where you have the multiple characters and then each of them do converge on one specific spot, and then the storyline goes, and makes this big dramatic finish of that. I think that'd be really cool. Just basically just trying to redo Resident Evil 6 again, but do it on a way better, bigger scale. Not so much of the bigger scale of, the monsters being the size of buildings or anything, but just like bigger scale in the story wise. And turn the story into the greatest Resident Evil story ever, I feel like this is all these origin stories are building up to something that is going to be like the grand finale, like the Avengers Assemble, of the movie stuff. That's what they're kind of going for with Resident Evil, it feels like. So yeah, I mean, we gotta wait for more. There has been footage of Resident Evil's castle gameplay where Lady Dimitrescu is chasing after you the whole time. I'm not the biggest. I will be honest. A lot of people love Nemesis chasing after them. I thought it was just enough in Resident Evil 3. Just like Mr. X was a little too much in Resident Evil 2. It does add suspense. It does create some very cool drama in the game, but if it's just over and over and over, like I'm just trying to grab a key and unlock a damn door and Mr. X is on my ass the whole time, that gets a little much, I feel. It's just after playing RE2 Remake multiple times, I just feel like it's a little too much. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis not being there the whole time, but you having these moments of like, oh, Resident Evil 3, I still say the worst part about Resident Evil 3 Remake is it's just too short. Yes, they could absolutely have more, but that's a good thing. It's so good that you want more, and I think that's really what everybody's biggest complaint about is not that there's so much content, they change things around. Well, no, it's a remake. It's supposed to be changed around, but it's just that you can finish it in a couple hours. That's something that it's. But Resident Evil 7 seems like it's turned out to be like the top notch, the highest tier, best in class that Capcom is doing. And I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see what comes out. I just, the castle thing again, hopefully Lady Dimitrescu isn't like, if she's slow enough, I guess you could just run around her, because a lot of times Mr. X, you can kind of just run around him. I think that's what it's going to feel like is Mr. X more than Nemesis, where she's going to have the Freddy Krueger claws out and everything. But I think she's going to be manageable. Instead of being giant footsteps, you're probably going to be hearing like all the laughing and everything, just like we heard in the Maiden demo. That's probably going to be also Lady. So we'll see what happens with the castle demo. I mean, this is just like a little bit of an update since the demo happened. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for the Let's Talk Live part of the stream tonight. So I'm just looking forward to the next demo. And then also we got that third demo coming out to where you can actually go back and do either demo all over again. I think that third demo is just going to be fun just to run through. I don't even know if there is going to be a major reason to play a third demo. But yeah, this is gonna be great. I just can't wait. It's like I've heard a lot about like this is just like Resident Evil 4, and I do see a lot of Resident Evil 4 influence in there, but it's way better than Resident Evil 4. I'm sorry, but my second playthrough of Resident Evil 4, I don't like it. I actually don't like Resident Evil 4. And I know that's like blasphemy with the Resident Evil fan base. I just, on the second playthrough, I didn't like it even more than the first playthrough. It just got worse. So this is taking the references from Resident Evil 4, but I think this is just like 10 times better. This is just a breath of world of fresh air better than what Resident Evil 4 was ever even trying to be. This is my type of Resident Evil game right here. It's a little more serious, very kind of atmospheric, very cool, dramatic. Get you thinking, get you on your toes a little bit. I love that. And you don't really know what's going to happen next in the story and all that. I love that. It's great. This feels big budget, where Resident Evil 4 just feels like it's kind of like arcade hee hee ha ha moments. So that we're just doing a little bit of a let's talk, as I call it, about Village, the demo that was out. So I think that's going to wrap up the let's talk, though. So we're going to actually finish Resident Evil 4 tonight. I know I just was saying how much I don't like it, but we're going to finish it. Same here. So yeah, that was, you can actually find the stream replay on YouTube, sorry, I haven't gotten the stream replay up on YouTube yet, but you can find it actually here on Twitch.